Okay, so I bought a hyper tough 6.5 amp reciprocating saw. I basically needed an inexpensive saw because I really don't saw that much. If I was like a contractor or if I was into heavy duty construction, I would get something far more powerful, and I'd also get something probably a little bit more expensive because these things range between $30 and $500. This one was only like 30 something dollars. Now, the saw blade set that I got was this one. Comes with 2 or 3 small metal saws. Then it comes with 2 or 3 wood saws. But these are the smaller ones. And then it comes with the larger one, which you can actually use for pruning if you have very, very thick weeds that need to be cut, or if you have very, very thick branches and stuff in your backyard. Everybody who has a home needs a SAWZALL. So basically today's project is getting this refrigerator into this space, because what it is as narrow as this refrigerator is, all refrigerators are pretty tall, and this was taller than 65 inches. So I'm gonna actually cut everything underneath this in order to make this refrigerator fit. So basically, just for a little check, just to see what it looks like, I'm gonna make this thing fit right up against this counter. A lot of this is getting changed, but it's not getting changed right now. So just to see, as you can see, there's a little dip right here, so that it needs about a 1/2 inch more space. So basically, I'm gonna be cutting to about a 1/2 inch with this SAWZALL. It's very, very simple. There's a simple rotating lock right here. Unfortunately, that lock is plastic. I'm not sure if the higher end models have the lock like that as metal. But all you do is you rotate it all the way, you stick a blade in, and then you're ready to plug it in and rock. There's really not a whole lot to it. It's actually very, very straightforward and simple. So this is the whole saw. And the plastic handguard and whatever should be enough because I'm not doing anything too rough. But there's also metal saws in case you're going to cut metal, and the vibration from that, it's like you got to be really careful. So you definitely want to use gloves. But for this, I don't think I'm going to need gloves. That's worth mentioning. Once this thing is plugged in, there is absolutely no safety mechanisms. Most of the tools that I've had where you actually run a risk of losing a finger typically have a safety mechanism. This one has none. So that means that if you're holding it in your hand like this, it's like you have to remember to keep both your fingers off the trigger. Otherwise, you run the risk of losing a finger. And because there's no safety top latch like some drills have and some power saws have, you have to be so careful with this thing. Okay, so I'm about 3 minutes in. I'm covered with sawdust. This is the cut that I made. May have to cut a little bit more from this side. Ultimately, these cabinets are getting replaced anyway, so I'm not too worried about any destruction that I do to them, because I'm going to ultimately just replace this entire cabinet set. Hopefully things will go on sale during tax season so I can get a really nice hardware set of cabinets. But saw is relatively easy to use. You just have to be so careful because you don't want to accidentally activate this thing, cut one of your goddamn fingers off. When I'm finished cutting, what I may do is I may apply like a small coat of paint, just one layer or something, just to make it look a little bit neat on the sides. This refrigerator is, I really like this refrigerator, and instead of getting a smaller one that would have fitted, I said, no, I specifically want this one because of the narrowness of this refrigerator, because most of these things that are French doors are usually 34, 36, and I just wanted something that would specifically fit this space here. So right there, so far it's looking okay. So I'll just have to cut a little bit more over here, and then we're good. But yeah, this saw performed pretty well. Yeah. Okay, so these were the cuts that I made. Chopped out that entire side over there. So obviously I won't be using these cabinets for anything heavy. The most I'll put in here is maybe some paper towels or something very, very light. And now as I get to put my refrigerator back. slide this back into the space. Yeah, so ultimately I'm gonna redo this entire thing, but I'm gonna probably wait until right after tax season. So this way I can get decent, President's Day deals on cabinets. Let's plug that boy in. Plug that right in there. Get the Samsung refrigerator under here. There we go. That's plenty of space. Tore that bad boy up. Right, there we go. So almost no space right there. Went right back. And I'll just put a couple of things on top of here. I cut way more off than I needed to, but that's okay. And maybe what I'll do is I'll go over here with like a single coat of paint. See, this is why I like this. This was exactly 30 inches wide, so it fits pretty much flush with this doorway. But, you know, hey, in time the renovations are going to come anyway. But, yep, this is my YouTube house. YouTube money. You know, it's like if you work really hard, YouTube can make like $2,000 a month on YouTube. You know, and I know in some parts of the country where the houses are cheap, like where you can still get $100,000 house. This house is $300,000. But I know there's some parts of the country where that kind of YouTube income is incredible. Like it's unheard of. You know, so this is my Samsung right there. You see, all it took was a couple of minutes, a little bit of work. Nice freezer drawer and everything. Okay, so there you go. The saw performed without a hitch. I would just say that if you are somebody who wants to make sure that you have a safety mechanism on your saw, you might want to definitely spend a little bit more money and get one that has a top safety.